chills right now thinking about it. Amazing. What a show.
She's great.
She's genius.
She's great. Not to harp on this, but a few years ago, I know, like on Twitter, the whole thing came out, like from Charles in Charge, where, you made these accusations against Scott Baio, and then, it didn't go anywhere because of statute of limitations. Where are we in, the industry with Me Too? Have we come really far? Have we not really come far? Are behaviors still the same? Like, what? I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
I think it's a mixed bag.
You do?
I do. I think a lot of, especially younger generation, are much more aware and, sensitive to it all. There are some people that are never going to change their ways, right? There are some people who just think it's all a bunch of crap and they're going to keep being themselves. And but I think what's acceptable, like on set and behavior, like outright behavior, I think has really sort of changed. I don't think you can act the way certain people acted on set anymore.
You do?
Yeah, because there's too many people around. There's too many people who are not going to put up with it, or not going to be bystanders anymore.
I mean, I kind of think the same thing.
Yeah.
And then, like, when that happens and then it goes away, do you hear from people that have also been, like, vocal in the Me Too movement? Like, Alyssa Milano's been very vocal. Like, Rose McGowan. Like, people that
Rose reached out to me when I came forward with my story. And, it wasn't even anything I meant to actually come forward with. It's something I had talked about before and nobody was listening. It was just sort of brushed under the rug. And his wife was just coming after me on social media. And I said, you know what? You need to watch your mouth, like watch your step. And so I said something, like ask him what happened. And when I woke up in the morning, there was no turning back. It was like, okay. And I had to decide whether I was going to keep talking about it or not. And it was something I needed to face because I had lied for so long, denying it. People knew. People asked me all the time. And it was like, and I would say, no. And it really what people would say to me is, didn't you guys date? Weren't you dating through all of Charles in Charge? And it's like, do you think about what you're asking me? I was a child. I was a little girl, and he was a grown man, almost 30 years old, and I was like just starting high school. So when you ask somebody, were you dating? And then I lied and covered it up for so long. I felt like, you know what? No, I'm just going to come clean for my own peace of mind, and for all those people that they knew, and then I would say, no. And they knew I was lying, and, it just felt good to just be honest.
Yeah. And you talked about it before quote unquote Me Too, and it just came out and went away 30 seconds later. And
Yeah.
Wow.
100%. Nobody was listening. Nobody wanted to hear. Nobody thought it was a bad thing. Right? Like, nobody thought. They either were like, oh, yeah, he would date her. She's hot. Or the other side of that was like, well, yeah, she would date him. He was this and that. So it's like it just.
Wow. And so then when you kind of mentioned, you said you went to bed, you woke up, Twitter went, were you shocked at like, oh, wait a second?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, I had to like take a moment because it wasn't even like that I woke up to Twitter. I woke up to like major news stations and, my manager going, wake up, get up. I need you on the phone. So it was like there was just a big decision to be made in a very short time span,
Wow.
And it was like kind of like, oh, what did I just step in? What did I just do? And then I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to be honest and let's go because I'm not going to back down now.
What did Rose McGowan say when she reached out?
She was just letting me know that she was behind me and supporting and like sending her love, which was amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because what she has done for all of this is, is unbelievable.
She's a brave woman.
Did your manager then say like, what the hell, or just like, no, it's your decision, like this is real, like you make, because I could see a lot of people's teams, I could see it going one way or another.
Well, he was like, you have to address it, like just point blank, and if you don't tell the story, it's going to get told for you, right? Like this isn't going away. This is something that everybody is focused on right at this moment, and if you don't tell your story, he's going to tell the story, and then, then what? So it was sort of that thing. And it was like, I remember having to fly out to New York. I was doing a couple news stations, and it was on the radio in the car with the driver. When I got to the airport, I'm in the lounge. It's on the TV. And it just was like, I was just like, oh, I want to die. shrivel up inside because it's so personal.
Yeah.
It's like so personal. And I felt so much shame about it for so long and embarrassment. And so it was a big growing experience for me to like put my big girl pants on and face it and tell the truth and stand up for myself and sort of embrace that little girl that was hurt.
And then is that like okay, other than me bringing it up here today, is that you're like, thank you very much, David?
That's fine.
But like, is that then closure, or is that like, well, this isn't exactly, or it really wasn't about the outcome regarding him? It was just like, I feel some closure, or not necessarily?
Well, at first, I'll tell you, to be completely honest, it's hard because then you're being asked all these questions and you're really trying to remember everything exactly the way it happened, and this is so long ago.
Right.
So there's this moment of like sheer panic of like trying to put all your memories in order and trying to like, to get it together, because you do and when something bad happens to you and you're traumatized like that, you push it away and you're like, okay, that's going in that box up there in that corner and we're not opening that box.
That's really how it works, 100%.
It is, and that's what I did for sure. So, it was like, okay, I gotta open that box. let me go open that box. And so that was the first part. And then the backlash of he came out as a big Trump supporter. All of this timing was like, couldn't be worse. And so many people were so happy he was a Trump supporter, other Trump supporters. And so I was being accused of this being a political thing. And I am just so not political. I don't have the intelligence to speak on it. I just don't get into politics. I don't want to talk about politics. I don't want to hear about it. Like, I have my opinions and they're mine. And that they're just going to stay with me. And so there couldn't be farther from the truth. And then it was like, oh, you're lying, and you that I was suing him like I wanted money out of this. There's no money to be had out of this. Nobody goes and makes up these stories and puts themselves in this position of talking about sexual like abuse without. It's just like, it was so uncomfortable. Like, it's so horrible. So it's like to then have like death threats and like people just constantly, harassing me. And that was hard. So that was like, I had to get through that. That was traumatizing. That was like really bad. And when all of that started to die down, I was able to then heal myself and get closure with it. But it wasn't closure because I was scared for my life for a couple years. Like, it was nonstop. And it was horrible. There were horrible things happening, and when LAPD is involved, this is serious stuff. It's like not a joke. And so all of that was, trauma on top of trauma. And then he hires a crisis manager. So it's like the abuser continuing to abuse and, drag me through the mud and lie and make up things and edit videos together to make it look like I'm saying something I'm not. And, just constantly slamming me, looking into everything about my life and trying to, and LAPD told me that he had 2 private investigator people following me at all times for me to slip up in any way doing anything. And it was like, good luck. I'm pretty boring.
Right.
I live a pretty normal like mom life. I'm not out like doing anything crazy. So, I'm sure those PIs fell asleep a lot. So, just that was a lot of trauma on top of trauma, and it was horrible. And then I was able to really like get peace.
And you had death threats, what, because political people, or was it like an actor that is beloved by someone?
I think it's a bit of both, right? Nobody wants to believe that the person they had hanging on their wall. You don't know how many messages I got like, you should be so lucky.